So to go through the sort of setup, initially from the start of the session, your lead arm there was getting a little bit kind of tucked in into your side there, not really creating the lowercase Y, it's a bit more of a kind of capital Y really, okay? What I want to try to do is get your lead arm and the club a little bit more in line there, okay? And then obviously your trail arm a bit more behind, so you've got more of a lowercase Y, as we said from before, rather than that sort of capital Y, okay? Then in terms of the swing for full shots, this was your swing before. Because of that setup, you see the arms were like pulling and dragging the club away here now. So more sort of a lift with your right elbow, kind of doing this to take the club away. Not really much twist, as opposed to that movement there, yeah? You can see your shoulders now have turned nicely, nice and early. You're getting the hinge of the wrist. Your left arm now is to the ground. We talked in the last sort of about that L to L position. You're getting that club hinging up nicely. When the club gets up there, good shoulder turn. Now we can turn back the ball. Good strike of the ball there now, and then turn through. We'll work a bit more on follow through going afterwards, but get this first bit right, and then we can sort of work on the next stage, okay? In terms of the shorter shots, as we said, there is a pretty distinct difference between the two setups there, okay? We are still creating that same Y shape, but now you've brought this right foot in closer, which now puts the golf ball, in a sense, opposite your right foot. Whereas before, your right foot was back here. The ball now would seem just left to centre. You bring your right foot in closer, it now seems back in the stance. All that's happened is, I say, you just brought your foot in narrower, like you would do. So if you were to throw a ball a long way, you have a big wide stance, you throw a ball 3 or 4 yards, you put it together, you sort of, you'd lean forward and just sort of chuck it forward, yeah? So you're creating a setup to hit the golf ball shorter. Then in terms of the swing here now, this would be a sort of 10, 15, maybe 20 yard shot, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45-ish, okay? So you're creating the distance by the backswing. And then from there, again, still turning on the way back, we turn the torso through the ball. There's a little bit of a kind of dip to try to get under the ball a little bit. Like once you realise you can sort of keep that pressure in that left foot and just let your torso turn the corner, the club using the ground gets the ball up in the air. You haven't got to try to scoop it up in the air, okay? But the shots, to be fair, 60, 70% are decent, 20% all right, and then there's a couple of just a bit duff ones, okay? Which is fine. If you can get that sort of increase the quality of the good shots, and then the bad shots become less bad, should we say? At least if you're 50, 60 yards from the green, you're hitting the green more often than not. That's just practice with a wedge. What I would say in terms of range sessions, use this sort of short shot on the right-hand side as your warm-up, yeah? A, it gives you a decent warming up to get ready for the full shots, and B, you're kind of practicing these shots that aren't really as much fun as giving it a good whack, are they?
Yeah, no.
And that's the thing, we want to go there and give the ball a whack and sit as far as we can hit it, but these shots are going to be important, okay? So if we can get good at these shots when we're on the golf course, we can bring the scores down by hitting the ball more consistently onto the green, and then just 2-putting. We saw the assessment that last time, those guys we let through on the 9th, I think it was, where they chipped on and 2-putted. You, to be fair, chipped on and 2-putted yourself, but doing that on a more regular basis, yeah? So remembering that Y shape, that's probably going to be something we might even remember to remind you with going forward later on, okay? Even way down the line, probably not so far down the line, but even in the future, sort of a few months, I remember that. Oh yeah. And if I say it now, you'd be like, oh yeah, and you'll probably then know what to do when I say that. You go, oh yeah, go this way. At the moment now, you needed prompting and then showing. Then in time, you just need prompting, and then after time, you'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, and it'll come back there. Okay, mate.
Yeah,
good stuff.